is now coming through, especially for me. And the reason is clear, it's because you are here. You're the nearest things to heaven that I've seen. I am on the top of the world looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find is the love that I found ever since you've been around. Your legs put me at the top of the world. Something in the wind has learned my name, and it's telling me that things are not the same. And the leaves on the tree and the touch of the breeze, there's a pleasant sense of happiness for me. There is only one wish on my mind. When this day is through, I hope that I will find that tomorrow will be just the same for you and me. All the need will be mine if you were here. I am on the top of the world looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find is the love that I found ever since you've been around. Your legs put me at the top of the world. I am on the top of the world looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find is the love that I found ever since you've been around. Your love's put me at the top of the world.
2부 세션이 시작될 예정입니다. 여러분 다 입장하셔서 자리에 앉아주시기 바랍니다. The second session of this conference will begin shortly. Please enter the hall and be seated. 네, 여러분 즐거운 식사 시간 되셨나요? 이제 다 자리에 앉아서 정리를 해주시면 두 번째 세션을 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 네, 이제 두 번째 세션을 시작하도록 할 텐데요. 여러분 자리에 앉아주시면 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 네, 이번 순서는 블록체인 터미널 회장이시자 월스트리트에서 금융 서비스 및 자산 관리 분야에서 25년 이상 경력을 쌓으신 분인데요. 밥 보모노님의 연설이 있겠습니다. 블록체인 터미널은 최고의 암호화폐 거래소에서 시장 데이터를 종합해 기관 투자자와 암호화폐 시장 사이의 격차를 제거하며 블록체인 업계의 뉴스와 소식을 제공합니다. 그럼 밥 보모노님을 무대로 모시겠습니다. 박수 부탁드립니다.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Bonomo, president of CG Blockchain, the creators of Blockchain Terminal and the Bct Token. See if this works. It's not working. We aim to bridge the traditional asset management industry with our burgeoning cryptocurrency community. However, the traditional asset management community has a challenge. None of the tools, processes, or systems they use allow them to embrace this new digital asset class. If the slides would work, I'll go ahead a couple of slides. There are three quotes that underscore what we believe will happen over the coming months and over the next 2 to 3 years. Traditional institutions, pension funds, endowments will begin to peel off 1 or 2 or 3% of their assets under management and invest in crypto. One of the quotes in the coming slide is from Coinbase that anticipates $10 billion is sitting on the sidelines from institutions waiting for the right time to enter the digital currency asset class. In addition, recently, Goldman Sachs established their own cryptocurrency trading desk and purchased a major US-based cryptocurrency exchange. But perhaps my favorite quote, I had the good fortune of participating in a panel in the US a few weeks ago with Mike Novogratz, ex-CEO of Fortress, a hedge fund, and current CEO of the crypto hedge fund Galaxy. And he said, "The herd is coming, I can hear them." And what we believe is happening is institutions are waiting for a few things to change to get comfortable in addressing this new investment opportunity. Here we go. You got it? I'll do it. Okay, thank you. All right. Looks like it's going the other way. Try it again. This is upside down. I think it's going the other way, right? Okay. So our BCT token is at the heart of our ecosystem and the blockchain terminal. What we are trying to do is serve the institutional asset management community with two fundamental pillars. Number one, a real-time compliance engine. That was the genesis of our company 2.5 years ago. It's called Compliance Guard, and it prevents hedge fund fraud. In addition, we're layering on top of that foundational real-time compliance monitoring capability an open ecosystem, an app store for hedge funds, if you will, that will leverage this compliance capability and real-time audit trails, but will open up the development environment not just to our development team, but to the world. The best analogy I can give you is the iPhone App Store. About 9 years ago, they created the App Store framework. They filled it with a few of their own homegrown applications and then incentivized developers from around the globe to fill in the community. And that's how we have today literally hundreds of thousands of apps that fill the iPhone App Store. We want to do the same thing. We want to democratize the asset management industry as it embraces cryptocurrencies. I'd like to start with a little video to summarize our strategy and product.
Meet the Blockchain Terminal, the world's premier platform that allows institutional investors to confidently enter the cryptocurrency market.
There's no volume.
By combining market data directly from top cryptocurrency exchanges, information about upcoming
Let me go back. Start that again. We are experiencing technical difficulties.
Meet the Blockchain Terminal, the world's premier platform that allows institutional investors to confidently enter the cryptocurrency market. By combining market data directly ICOs.
Shall I advance this now myself or just leave it? Okay.
Meet the Blockchain Terminal.
Bear with me for a second, please.
The Blockchain Terminal, the world's premier platform that allows institutional investors to confidently enter the cryptocurrency market. By combining market data directly from top cryptocurrency exchanges, information about upcoming ICOs, as well as news from publications, blogs, and social media, our hardware creates a complete picture of the crypto world. With Blockchain Terminal, everyone can intelligently participate in this emerging market. The terminal is equipped with an open app store that brings the world's blockchain and crypto apps right onto your screen. Our software allows you to transact and helps you direct orders to market makers and exchanges alike. Underneath the BCT is our first-of-its-kind compliance guard technology, which automatically creates a transparent audit trail for trading operations, both large and small. That's the terminal. What about the Bct Token? Well, it's the gas that keeps the terminal running. The Bct Token is required to register, transact, and utilize applications all within the platform. The Bct Token is the means of exchange for developers, for investors, for you. You've got the hardware, you've got the apps, you've got the coin, you've got the Blockchain Terminal. Click the button below to learn more.
So in essence, we are creating an open app store for institutions. And we're not doing it just for trading. We believe that crypto today really starts at the trading desk. We believe there's an evolution that has to occur, sort of a maturation of this environment that moves upstream to create repeatable, scalable processes as exist in the traditional asset management community. Namely, a research process that feeds a portfolio construction process that feeds the trading desk to get best execution. So this ecosystem, the blockchain terminal, will be a container for all apps necessary to manage the cryptocurrency asset class front to back, from AML, KYC onboarding, to research processes, to portfolio, trading, post-trade operations, performance attribution, you name it, we will house those applications. All of this is built on our foundation application. Our company's name is CG Blockchain. Why? Because our compliance guard application is at the base of our app store. Think of it as a tape recorder, a blockchain tape recorder. All interactions with the ecosystem whether front, middle, or back office applications will be seamlessly audit trailed behind the scenes in a private, encrypted local blockchain. And we anchor those data items into the public chain in order to create a repeatable process to validate compliance over time. We're not just a white paper. You can see outside we have a beta version of our terminal ready for demoing. And we have Jeff and Mary here. If we can just, Mary can stand up. And is Jeff here as well? If you can just stand up. So there he is in the back. We are live in 20 traditional hedge funds. That was our initial focus. Then we extended it to the crypto hedge fund community because they are flying blind. They have no regulators, no controls, no audit trails, and they cannot prove that what they're marketing to their clients is actually how they're managing the portfolio behind the scenes. We also are in the process of building 200 beta versions of our terminal, and we're distributing them free to thought leaders and institutional managers in order to get a feedback loop to make sure that our design and our strategy aligns with the needs of this industry. It all starts with best execution. That's what all asset managers require. That's what regulators demand to serve the institutional clients. And this is what we provide. We provide a unified, aggregated order book across multiple exchanges to simplify the transactions for large sources of crypto. So for instance, if you wanted to buy 5,000 Bitcoin, you could do that with one single click and have all the fills slice and dice across many exchanges, rather than what happens today is you hop from exchange to exchange and you do manual work. This is the way traditional asset management works, and this is the way this is what we want to bring to the institutional use of crypto. In order to have best execution, it starts with industrial grade data. And we want to be broad and deep. We want to include all coins, not just the top coins. We want to aggregate market data from multiple exchanges. And we also want to begin that evolution I mentioned earlier around the research process. We believe the ICO process needs repair. In fact, one of our advisors, Miko Matsumura, have been speaking for months about this very thing, and he created the ICOgovernance.org Foundation, and he was saying that ICOs should be templatized, time-stamped, made transparent, and we were saying exactly the same thing. So we created a container app in our beta version of the terminal to begin feeding information about ICOs, to rate their white papers, to rate the quality of their executive teams and technical development staff, as well as maintain focus post-ICO to understand how well they're adhering to the milestones they put forth. In addition, we want to see the transparency to see how well they're adhering to their discounts that they're offering to clients along their ICO process. We also are aggregating news and chat from multiple sources. Once again, in crypto, this is very key to decision making, to see what the community is thinking, where they're putting their thoughts, what sentiment is basically out there in the industry. Once you have institutional grade data, we want to provide libraries of analytics and graphical representation to make decision making easy and transparent. Our entire business model is based on partnerships. As I said earlier, we're building an app store framework, and we're incentivizing developers from around the world to plug their apps into our framework. We recently signed an amazing exclusive with a company called FactSet, which is a global market provider of market data. And also 3 years ago, they purchased a company called Portware that is the leading institutional high-end algorithmic trading platform for institutions. They have over 90% of that market. They approached us. They knew me from my days on Wall Street, and they approached us about our Compliance Guard product, and we've signed an exclusive with them that they will be deploying our Compliance Guard fraud prevention, blockchain tape recorder type solution at the base of our app store framework. They're going to be deploying that across their entire installed base of 90,000 seats globally, which equate to $16 trillion of traditional assets under management. So we're about partnering with development communities. We're about incentivizing them from both sides of the aisle. we want to collect best-of-breed applications, so we are incentivizing traditional vendors who serve traditional asset managers to extend their tool set capabilities to talk crypto, and, equally importantly, to raise the bar of transparency and accountability in the crypto hedge fund community, because as I mentioned earlier, they don't have regulators, they don't have controls, they don't have audit trails, and they cannot emphatically guarantee that what they're marketing to the client is actually what's going on behind the scenes. But with our product, they can. And why is that important? Because the nature of the evolution of this industry is they're no longer looking for whales to give them money. They're no longer tapping their high net worth network of friends. The next pot of money they're seeking is from institutions. And institutions will demand that level of transparency and understanding about the management process behind the scenes. So let's talk token economics. The Bct token basically operates the machinery. We will charge Bct token to developers to register and validate their apps. We'll curate them, assure that the functionality is valid and that it's a secure application, much like is done with iPhone App Store as well. We'll also require the Bct token to transact, to purchase applications, to use the applications, and to store underlying data via microtransactions. We're all about revenue sharing. In the app development community, the app developers will get 80% of the revenue derived from consumers buying their product, and the storefront will get 20%. Similarly, we're in early discussions since we plan to be the on-ramp for institutions to funnel their large amount of assets into the crypto community, we want to also share in the revenue of transaction fees. So we're in discussions to hopefully get 20% of that flow as well. So as more and more institutions come on board, more and more transactions flow through the system, that's an upward pricing influence on our token. And once again, we're incentivizing both sides of the aisle, traditional vendors to onboard to crypto, and crypto hedge funds to increase their transparency and accountability. So what about revenue streams? We have two fees from the retail version of our product, which I'll talk about in a minute, as well as our institutional version, which is what's outside. The beta version you see out in the hallway is an institutional footprint. It is meant to be used by traditional asset managers and crypto hedge fund managers. But we also have a retail version in the pipeline that I'll talk about later. But in either case, app developers will share in that revenue 80-20 with a split. Also, as we get transaction flow through the system, we'll share in those revenues, as I mentioned. And also, standalone users of Compliance Guard will pay a small fee for the right to store data and provide the ability to deliver compliance validation. So we've assembled an amazing group of both technical staff and board of advisors. This is me. I grew up on Wall Street, spent 30 years. I was a developer, built many global systems and built many global teams. I also rose to the level of Chief Information Officer at two highly respected global asset management firms, Oppenheimer Funds, a retail mutual fund company, and Alliance Bernstein, a world leader in high net worth and institutional asset management. And I've been working in crypto since 2013, and in this world, that's a very, very long time. So I've gotten to know most of the players, look under the hoods of a lot of applications, understand where the industry's going, and I'm a fervent believer that blockchain will change the world. There's no question about it. I even did some philanthropy in Africa, and from the bottom up, the impact of this technology is amazing. As impressive as our technical team is, which we'll see in a second, you recognize a lot of these names. We've assembled thought leaders, both on the crypto side and the traditional hedge fund community. John Matonis, the chairman of the Bitcoin Foundation. Richard Titus, a famous player from the dot-com era. Miko, I mentioned earlier, who has the Compliance Foundation. Craig Sellers, Scott Walker, but also some tremendous players from the traditional asset management community. Todd Rupert, the ex-CEO of T. Rowe Price, is an active board member, as well as James Duplessis, who had multiple hedge funds back in his days on Wall Street, as well as Sean Koh, who is very helpful in introducing us to interested parties in South Korea while we're here. On our technical team, we've amassed a group of entrepreneurs and thought leaders across multiple disciplines, blockchain, science, government studies, just a tremendous group of global team members. We're spread quite widely across the globe. We have a very aggressive 2018 roadmap. We finished our alpha deployment. We had about 6 or 7 alpha terminals delivered to trusted parties to give us advice and help us narrow our focus going forward. As I mentioned earlier, we're building 200 beta terminals as we speak. We just got additional industrial space in Manhattan in New York where we're headquartered, and we're building those terminals as we speak. We have a queue of 200 participants waiting. We have actually 70 of them identified. We have 130 more openings for those terminals. And once again, we're looking for partners. We're looking for people who are going to engage with us, give us feedback, and provide input to our evolutionary roadmap. In addition to the institutional footprint, that's a hardware-software combination that you'll see out in the hallway. That's 2 38-inch monitors, a custom-developed Linux box that's reduced in functionality to reduce the attack footprint from hackers, and also the entire system is hardened. None of the USB ports will allow anyone to come and extract data, even though the data is encrypted. We don't want anyone accessing that data, so those ports are closed. If the device doesn't have our digital signature on it, they will not be recognized. However, with this product, we're trying to embrace traditional managers and crypto managers in one approach, but we also recognize that there's a huge retail consumer audience. And to serve that, we are, in July, planning to deliver a retail version of the same best-of-breed applications across 5 categories: best execution, market data and analytics, aggregated news, aggregated chat with sentiment analysis, and the Compliance Guard Foundation. We're going to deliver those same best-of-breed apps to a retail consumer via a retail browser for a monthly subscription fee. And lastly, we plan to complete the development of our App Store framework, provide full coin mechanics and functionality by October-November timeframe, and we're very confident that we're going to hit that target. And much like Apple did with the iPhone App Store, we don't want to open up a store and have nothing on our shelves, right? So we want to incentivize development communities to build those apps between now and launch date October-November, so that when we fully release the full capability of the App Store framework, we are supported by dozens, if not hundreds, of applications. Thank you very much. Please go to bct.io for additional information. I hope this was interesting to you. We can provide a demo outside in the hallway, and as I mentioned, Jeff's in the back and Mary's over here. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you for listening. Thank you.
네, 여러분 박수 부탁드립니다. 혹시 질문 있으시면 가볍게 손 들어서 질문해 주시면 감사하겠습니다.
So, I have several questions, so I go one by one. First of all, actually, I heard, I saw this casual advertisement on KakaoTalk that you've already made some agreement with some big exchanges, like Bittrex. So I wanna check if that's a fact. Like, is there any global major exchanges that already have joined partnership with your project?
Not from a partnership listing perspective of our token. We're not really discussing that at this point. However, with respect to our trading panel, the bottom panel, the objective there is to integrate all exchanges. And our target is to get to 100 exchanges. Right now we have 4 functioning that'll automatically slice and dice and give you order fills across those exchanges. Back home, we're testing with 30 others, and we have another, we're queuing them up as we can validate their APIs, validate their reliability. That's our intent, to be a single point of access, a simple, uniform method to get large flow.
So there are several projects that already attempt to integrate all exchanges like cash or some other projects. And so, what do you think you can differentiate your project from others?
I think one answer is time to market. We're ready to go. We're active. We're being deployed. But more importantly, we have the foundational compliance guard framework that really no one else has. And it's not just for the transactions coming through the order management or execution management platform. It's any app throughout the ecosystem. We'll be able to audit trail that behind the scenes. And a good thing to bring up is today, compliance audits don't really serve the investor, they don't serve the hedge fund, and they don't serve the industry. Why? Because they're done after the fact. It's a post-mortem. After bad news leaks to the media that says you're being investigated or you're being questioned about your activity, all the bad things happen, whether you did something wrong or not. Assets get redeemed, reputations are lost. In the case of Visium, a hedge fund in New York, the founder committed suicide. Why? Because those constraints that institutions put on themselves in the trading platform to align their activity with their mandate are internal only. They never see the light of day. They can be ignored, deleted, or manipulated. What we've done is we've squeezed that reaction time to real time. We're capturing those events and alerting predetermined interested parties to get ahead of that headline risk, to have a conversation with the asset manager and say something along the lines of, hedge fund X, trader Y, product Z had 2 yellow alerts last Thursday and had a red alert today. Let's have a conversation. Let's understand what's actually going on. And if you feel a need, you can trigger a real-time, event-driven compliance audit, extract data out of the private, locally encrypted blockchain, recalculate the hash that was stored in the cloud for anchoring, and make sure that the data you're analyzing as an auditor has not been tampered with. And that's the most important thing as an auditor, to make sure the data you're dealing with is accurate and untampered. That's our real value add that no one else brings to the table. It's an open ecosystem. It's not just a trading platform. It's front, middle, and back office, and it's fully audit trailed through the blockchain. So that's our competitive advantage.
What if the exchanges don't like the idea of compliance guard? Like if they don't like transparency, then what's going to happen?
Well, I think that's going to have to change. As institutions come on board, they're going to demand transparency. They're going to demand reliability for high volume flow, and they're going to demand some consolidation. And there'll be winners and losers in the exchanges, no question about it. But institutions will demand the same level of accuracy and reliability that they've come to know and love in the traditional framework.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
네, 혹시 다른 질문 있으신가요?
Okay. Thank you very much, and I apologize for the complications in the beginning of the presentation. Thanks a lot.
네, 그럼 이어서 벤코러스의 공동 창업자이자 CEO이신 그래고리 반덴버그님의 연설이 있겠습니다. 벤코러스는 전통 자산을 암호화폐 시장으로 안전하게 유입될 수 있도록 그렇게 하는 회사고요. 또 암호화폐 자산 관리 서비스를 제공하는 최초의 AI 기반의 플랫폼입니다. 그럼 그래고리 반덴버그님을 무대 위로 모시겠습니다. 여러분 박수로 맞아주시기 바랍니다.
안녕하세요. 한국엔 처음입니다. 이 자리에 와서 기쁩니다. It's my first time in Korea. It's really lovely to be here in Seoul. Thank you so much. Korea is a really important market for us. We actually traveled here with 6 people of our team. They sit around that table. Perhaps you guys can stand up a bit. So we have my co-founder and several other people that travel from all the world to be here. We all have a small gift for you as well after the conference, so feel free to come and find us. We have these black Bankorus t-shirts on. Cool. We are based all over the world, but our roots are actually in a country that is still up to date, responsible for a large chunk of the mining happening in crypto. And of the hashing power, we are still responsible for about 80% of the hashing in the network. When I talk about mining, so mining in the country, and by the way, I'm not from the country. I'm originally from Belgium, but I moved to this country about 6 years ago. So when mining happens, it happens like this. It's sort of very industrial scale. And it still is happening. Does anyone have any idea what country this is? Yes, exactly. China. This is Shanghai. I'm based in Beijing. That is China. And so as you know, China has been a main power in cryptocurrency, as has Korea, and sort of will be in the future. And I want to talk a little bit more about what exactly is happening there and what's going on. 2 months ago, I was in Davos at the World Economic Forum together with several key people in the blockchain field. Joe Lubin was there, the founder of Consensus. And we were on a debate with several people. And the World Economic Forum came out with a prediction that in less than 10 years, 10% of the world GDP will be in digital assets. 10% is about $10 trillion. Currently, I'm sure all of you are checking the market cap, it's much less than that. It's around $250 billion. The big question is, of course, how do we as a world go from where we are now to $10 trillion? How do we get there? And so, traditionally, a big first mover en masse in any new investment market are traditionally not retail investors, but high net worth investors, and to some extent institutions, but primarily high net worth investors, family offices, etc. I was at a conference with Mark Mobius organized by Nomura not that long ago, and he was saying as well that most family offices, most wealthy people are talking about moving into crypto, going into crypto en masse. If you look at private equity as an asset class, venture capital as an asset class, first movers primarily have always been high net worth individuals. So the question is really, how do we get from where we are now to there as high net worth individuals? What Bankorus is about is we are a platform, a marketplace that makes it very, very easy and simple for these high net worth individuals all around the world to access crypto. When I say crypto, I don't just mean utility tokens. I also mean security tokens, asset-backed tokens, tokenized real estate, tokenized venture capital funds, tokenized private equity. And that is what we believe is the world where we will go to. And this world will have a main platform. In a similar way that for e-commerce, there are a few main platforms that people use. That's a marketplace that's curated like Amazon, like Taobao, like Alibaba. It's a marketplace where people can access, can know what I buy is correct, what I buy is true, what I buy is not fake, and get transparency about the risk of wealth management. The internet as such hasn't really changed wealth management. I still buy the same products as my parents. The only difference is, for me to buy them, I use a computer or a phone. But the way the origination of the asset works, the accounting, the back office, the middle office, the front office, all the different middlemen, still the same as 40 years ago. That is changing now at blockchain, and we're the main portal to access that. Currently, all high net worth individuals worldwide have a total amount of net worth of more than $60 trillion. To give you an idea, if you take all the sovereign wealth funds in the world, Singapore, China, Korea, all the European countries, and you put their money together, you only have about $20 trillion. So 3 times as much money as all the sovereign wealth funds is in the hands of these family offices, these high net worth individuals. And we, by the way, classify high net worth individuals as people that have over $1 million equivalent in investable assets. So not just the value of your house, but actually value that you need to invest. Bankorus actually is a 4-year-old company. We've currently are in China the main provider of wealth management software for private wealth management firms and private banks. Every day, around 200,000 family offices currently use our software to manage their risk, to manage their portfolio, etc. So that is what Bankorus is about. This is our team, or part of our Beijing team. We have around 35, 40 people currently in offices all around the world. This is the office in Beijing, and many of the people here in this picture are present here as well. A little bit more about the team. So I'm originally from Belgium, but I came to China about 6 years ago to study at the business school there, and then I set up the company in my dorm room with several of the professors. My co-founder, Eagle An, he is here, by the way. Perhaps you can stand up. So Eagle actually has a really, really special background. He before was at Peking University, which is one of the top universities in China, or the top. And then he worked for 4 years at Agricultural Bank of China, which is one of the top 4 state-owned banks. And then he worked for almost 10 years at a bank called Standard Chartered. Standard Chartered is currently one of the top 3 private banks, foreign private banks in China. And Eagle both worked on the selling side as well as on the product side. And about 6 years ago, he was hired by the founder of the largest peer-to-peer company in China, a company called Credities. I'm not sure if anyone heard about it. It's a multi-billion-dollar company. It's still privately owned. And he was asked by the founder of Credities to take this new asset class called peer-to-peer and to wrap it into something to sell to high net worth individual investors and basically create a private wealth management firm out of this peer-to-peer platform. You know, most peer-to-peer in the US, Lending Club, SoFi, etc., is really a retail product. And so within less than 3 years' time, Eagle was able to hire over 2,000 relationship managers in 50 different locations in China. And at present, Credities is the 2nd largest private wealth manager in China. And that's an amazing achievement. And that's just with peer-to-peer. With crypto, we will see something much, much bigger. Professor Geert Beekert, he's still a professor at Columbia. He was involved with Financial Engines. It's a NASDAQ-listed company. Ouyang Hui, he used to be the head of UBS, Big Data, and Financial Management. Stephen Kay's our CTO. And then Anne Floor, she was the CMO for Europe, Middle East, and Africa of Citibank worldwide. And also, she before that was the CMO for corporate at Silicon Valley Bank. Silicon Valley Bank is the main bank that most VCs in Silicon Valley and most tech companies bank with. So we're really, really happy to have her. In terms of advisors, who has heard about Status? Yeah, Status, great. Status is a top 35 token. The founder only backs one company publicly, and that's us. We also have David Johnston. So David Johnston's claim to fame, besides that he's a founder of Factum, is that David Johnston did the first ICO ever, Mastercoin. He also is on the board of Polymath, which is the first security token chain in the world. Lon Wang, he's the president of the NEM Foundation. So NEM is like a top 15 coin. The ticker is XEM. You might have heard of it. He's also a backer of us. And then we're really, really happy to have, as the only blockchain company in the world, the former CEO of one of the big 4 private banks to have joined us. Chris van Aken, he is the former CEO of Morgan Stanley's private bank worldwide, and he joined us as an advisor and a massive investor already for the last 4 years. So we're really, really, really happy to have him. And then Charles-Edouard Bouet, he's the CEO of Roland Berger. Roland Berger is the McKinsey of Europe. It's one of the top consulting firms in the world, and they're very big in Asia as well. They have offices here too, as well as several in China, India, etc. We also have a revenue share agreement for us. So Roland Berger goes with us to market, to go to their clients, talk about blockchain, talk about tokenizing assets, etc. And then we have several other people. Sebastian, who is partner of Blockchain Global. He raised personally over $300 million in token sales. Georgina, Roger Kirby. Roger Kirby is actually quite an interesting character. He's not famous. I don't expect any one of you to know him, but his firm is quite famous in the legal space. As you know, in 2008, we had the financial crisis, and banks did a lot of bad things. Roger Kirby, successfully with his firm, did a litigation against Citibank, and the second largest financial settlement from a bank due to the crisis was won by him. So Citibank paid over $500 million in fines for selling bad products to investors. And he's the person that led the class action. And then we also have Antanas. I just came back from Lithuania to work with him. Antanas, he's a billionaire. He's a member of the European Parliament. And he's actually writing a lot of the regulation about blockchain, security tokens, etc. in the European Union. What are the challenges for today's high net worth individuals? What stands us between now and then? First of all, it's difficult for them to access crypto. A lot of the crypto exchanges don't have that good user experience, and there's a lot of illiquidity in the market. Because when high net worth individuals invest, it's not that they buy one Bitcoin. They put in millions and millions of dollars into the market. It's a costly, high-touch process. Often high net worth, they don't do this via electronic means. They like to talk with an advisor, and then the advisor has to do it. Inconsistent reporting standards. So a lot of the problems that high net worths have is that, when I was at Morgan Stanley, guess what the number one question was that we would get from our clients? Anyone, any idea? The number one question I had working as a private banker at Morgan Stanley is, how much money do I have at Morgan Stanley? How wealthy am I? Guess how long it took to answer that question? More than 1 week. It's a very simple question, right? You just look it up. How come it takes so long? The problem is that in the financial system's technology stack is still the same as we had 30, 40 years ago. All the data is stored on Excel. We have billions of Excel sheets. And we have people as middleware. And that is really, really inefficient. And that's why it takes, for these simple questions, calculating risk, etc., a very, very, very long time. Persistent data breach risks. Well, you all heard probably about Equifax and a lot of the hacking that's going on. JP Morgan spends every year over $200 million on data security. It was hacked several times in the last few years. And then, of course, high compliance costs. Currently, compliance costs, depending on your country, eats up about 10 to 20% of your revenue. That's a big amount. We at Bankorus have created a few modules within our platform for people to access crypto in a very compliant way. First one is B-Market. Think about it like Amazon or Alibaba for people to access crypto. It's a marketplace that's curated, that's regulated. We are compliant in each jurisdiction that we are with the right regulators, where you can buy your crypto, your security token, your tokenized real estate, your tokenized venture capital fund in a compliant way with a guarantee from us that what you buy exists. Be tokenized is our service of tokenizing real-world assets. So if people have assets such as real estate, venture capital funds, etc., we can help tokenizing that. And then B-Loan is the lending facility. So similar to peer-to-peer lending, we have a C2C lending platform, but the lending platform is securitized. So there's an actual underlying to it. So that is B-Loan. And then we have a few solutions as well that are fully open source that we spread with the community. BID is a digital identity that we create for accredited investors. And then once you are accredited, you can buy on the platform as much as you would like without actually ever having to re-accredit yourself. B-Report is a uniform reporting standard, and B-Risk, which is a risk management tool that we have, so you can calculate and see how much risk do I have at each point in time. We are traditionally an AI company, so we pioneered AI, and we also pioneered blockchain as a financial application in China within the customers that we work with. We have a financial planning engine that's currently in use by over 200,000 family offices indirectly with the customers that we have that handles these particular financial planning that their advisors are using, etc., to come up with a great way to invest, portfolio engine, and also a risk engine. So that's our story. We're a 4-year-old company. We are part of Microsoft Accelerator. Microsoft Accelerator is the #1 accelerator in China. We're a gold partner as well of Microsoft worldwide, which means that for everything that Microsoft sells of our solution, the actual salespeople get around 10% back from them. And so, yeah, we have around 40 people, and we're handling around $60 billion in terms of risk and financial management through our systems, which equates to around 200,000 handwritten individual families in Asia, mostly in China. And they're all ready for crypto. They're all talking about crypto, and they all want to get into crypto. The big vision that we have is that when I come back here in this and a few years' time, and I ask all of you, how many people have the majority of their wealth in the form of a token, that everybody of you raises their hands. The reason why is we believe that a token, security token, is the most efficient, the most transparent, and the most liquid way to own your wealth. Whether it is a house, whether it is antiques, whether it is a piece of art, a Picasso, you'll be able to own it in the form of a token. And the same way that now very, very wealthy billionaires are investing with family offices in different asset classes, everybody will be able to invest thanks to the power of the blockchain. And we at Bankorus see ourselves as the one-stop shop for everything to do with wealth management on the blockchain. Borrowing, lending, accessing crypto, accessing utility tokens, accessing security tokens, etc. That is what we do. So if you have more information, please scan the QR code. That's our Telegram group chat, t.me/Bankorus, Bankorus, like dinosaurs. Thank you very much for your attention, and it's really my pleasure to be here. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Thank you.
네, 좋은 말씀 잘 들었습니다. 혹시 질문이 있으신 분들, 네, 질문해 주시면 감사하겠습니다.
네, 감사합니다. 지금 솔루션 지금 6가지를 설명하셨는데요. 2018년도 이후부터 더 지금 개발 중인 솔루션이 있는지요? 아까 이 비마켓부터 뭐 비리스크까지 6개 말고 솔루션이 있는지? 개발 중에
We have several solutions on the wraps as well. We actually have 9 in total. So it's BID, B-Risk, B-Market, B-Loan, etc. 3 AI engines, 3 kind of open source solutions, and then 3 things. The main one of them is really the marketplace. Because we believe that it solves a big problem in the crypto sphere, which is the problem of custody. The big problem, so I was at Polycon the other day, a few weeks ago in Bahamas, and there was a debate with lots of early people in crypto, Nick Szabo, who was the founder of the Bitcoin Center, and several other people. And the key thing that came out of the debate is that the reason why crypto now is not massively adopted yet is because if you go to my parents' generation, or if you go to specific family offices, and you say, look, all your wealth is in form of tokens, and by the way, I have a card here, and this card has 24 different words on it, and by the way, if you lose this card, you lose all your wealth, and there's no way of getting it back. That's a really, really bad solution. So one of the main modules that we are working on and that we'll be announcing and releasing soon will focus on the custody part. The custody part, besides B-Market, B-Loan, etc. So that will be one of the key ones that we will be announcing soon.
한 가지 더 간단하게 중국에서 10개 지금 자산 관리를 하고 있다라고 탑 10 이렇게 말씀하셨는데 여기 브로셔에 지금 여기 현재 고객에는 4개로만 되어 있거든요. 따라서 4개에서 지금 그러니까 벌어들이는 수익금이 어느 정도가 되는지 현재 고객 여기 4가지 4개 회사.
So how much do you earn with the 4 companies you run in China?
It's actually one company that we have. So
4 companies you are running asset management companies.
oh, the clients that we have, you mean? Oh, yeah. that's not our companies. Those are our clients. So those are people that, first of all, we can disclose because most clients are under NDA. But the ones that we can disclose, they are on that field. But we don't own them. These are not our companies. They're our clients. So last year's revenue was a few $1 million equivalent. Yeah, just to give you an idea. Yeah. So we charge on a SaaS-based model, etc. But yeah, we can talk more about this offline. Yeah. Cool. Any more questions? There's one at the back.
예, 세션 잘 들었습니다. 그 한 가지 여쭤보면 지금 처음에 말씀하셨을 때 그 실물 자산을 디지털 자산으로 전환하고 디지털 자산을 운영 관리해 주는 회사가 그 포커스인 건지 아니면 블록체인 기반의 IT 솔루션을 기반으로 하는 거를 목표로 하시는 건지 그 두 가지가 좀 궁금하고요. 그다음에 AI 엔진이 지금 그 자체적으로 갖고 계신 건지 아니면 현재 AI 그 엔진을 갖고 있는 회사들이 많은데 그거를 지금 활용하는 건지 그 알고 싶습니다.
Let me start with the second question. So on the AI side, we have our own AI developed by ourselves. However, we use some libraries that are out there, primarily with Microsoft, because we were part of the Microsoft Accelerator. We were in their offices. Actually, one of the key people, so Aaron sits over there. Yeah, please stand up. So Aaron actually was one of the key people of machine learning at Baidu before. And he's from the AI, and then we have Lee as well. He's from our AI team as well. So if you have any questions specifically about what AI we use, how we use it, what libraries we use, feel free to reach out to Lee and Aaron. The first question is, what is sort of the big goal of what we have in terms of companies? So for us, we traditionally were a software company, and in doing so, we really have the network of several, over 200,000 family offices. We really ingrained worldwide of what exactly wealth management is about. All of our backgrounds come either from the IT side or from the wealth management. The way we see us growing is really to create this main platform, this main marketplace where people go to transact, to buy and sell security tokens, and we make money on the transaction side. That is how we work. We have our own token as well, the Bct Token, Bankorus token. It's not released yet, but will be soon. The way how it will work, and feel free to ask for more information on a Telegram, is the token itself is used by the users of the platform. So first of all, it's the main network currency that we have. So we work with a series of vendors that provide KYC, AML, compliance, as well as for the tokenization. We primarily work with third-party vendors like Securitize, Trust Token, etc. But also we have an entity ourselves that will do that, and these are paid with our own tokens. So that's the first way. Second way our token is being used is every quarter what we do is we take the net fees of the platform, and then for those that have staked the coin can claim again up to 20% of the net revenue that we have back, and that is what we then distribute to them. And then thirdly, a third thing that we have is similar to a private bank. Our users, high net worth individuals, etc., crypto investors, because a lot of our first users are actually crypto wealth, miners, people that have a lot of crypto that are looking to diversify. They want to buy a house in Australia, they want to buy a particular asset, etc. And so the way that we have structured is similar to a private bank, is there are 3 tiers of users besides a normal user, depending on how many tokens you keep on holding. So you have a silver user, a gold user, and then a platinum user. And depending on how many tokens that you hold, you get access first to new investments. When there's a special piece of real estate that we tokenized and that is for sale, the platinum users can first do a bidding to buy the whole piece of real estate rather than a 1% ownership, 2% ownership in the piece of real estate. When there's special assets, so now we're talking with a person from Vatican City. Vatican City has a lot of very famous art from very famous artists to tokenize some key art there. Then platinum users or gold users have first access to new technology, new assets, etc. So that is, we see ourselves as the Amazon for crypto wealth management, a one-stop shop where you can buy any type of important token worldwide with a very great curated user experience that's curated by AI. There was a question at the back. Oh, okay. Great. All right, this was the last question I hear. But if you have any more questions, feel free to talk to me. I'll be staying here for a while. I'm going to other conferences in Korea as well. I'll be at the Economy. So if you have any more questions, feel free to grab us. We'll be at the after party as well. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
네, 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드립니다. 네, 다음은 비체인의 CEO이신 케빈 펑님의 연설이 있겠습니다. 비체인은 포괄적인 관리 구조와 견고한 경제 모델, 그리고 진보된 IoT 통합을 통해 블록체인 기술과 현실 세계의 연결을 목표로 하는 퍼블릭 블록체인 플랫폼입니다. 케빈 펑님은 사이버 보안 컨설팅 및 보험 서비스 분야에서 12년 이상의 경력을 보유하고 계시고 금융 서비스 및 기술 등 산업 분야의 인물들과 두터운 인맥을 가지고 계십니다. 그럼 케빈 펑님을 무대 위로 모시겠습니다. 박수로 맞아주시기 바랍니다.
Good evening, everyone. I'm very excited to be here. Actually, I was here 2 weeks ago. Actually, that was my first visit to Korea, and I talked to a lot of people. And at that time, including the organizer of this event, I noticed that there's so much energy in this market, and people are really passionate about the blockchain industry. That's why we decided that we are going to focus more on this market. And we already kicked off our official Korean community like 2 weeks ago. So expect to see us more in the Korean market. So today I'm going to talk about the Vechain project, which is basically a public blockchain made for massive enterprise adoption. So, and also I'm going to talk about what are some of the challenges and concerns from the enterprise users when they think about using a public blockchain. And also how we tackle that on our platform. So I'm going to start with a little bit of the whole industry. So in the last 2 years, basically we got so much attention, the blockchain industry got so much attention than it had ever before since the invention of Bitcoins. It's because the mainstream started to notice the power of blockchain and the cryptocurrency. But I think actually in the next 2 or 3 years, it's going to be really critical. It's going to be the defining phase for this whole industry because people already realize the potential, but people are expecting to see the real world application or commercialization of this technology. So, and we were expecting to see significant development in the regulatory requirements as well as industry standards. So that's why we are really focused on the application and the implementation of this technology. Only if we can get that proof that this technology can be actually used, and we will be able to get to the so-called growth phase. So in Vechain, we believe the biggest hurdle at this moment about this blockchain technology is actually not the technology itself, but the real-world application. So why do we say that? Maybe it's time to give a little bit background about the Vechain project. So the project started from 2015. At the beginning, we were basically a blockchain service provider, meaning we go to the client, we analyze their needs, and we build the whole solution, the full stack solution, including the blockchain level, smart contract, API, even the user interface. We build the whole thing for the client so that they can just use it instantly. So in this process, we learned we have implemented blockchain solution for different industry, including luxury brands, alcohol, automotive, and cold chain logistics, a lot of them. So, and we got this impression, and we learned from our client that they also realize the power of public blockchain, which can facilitate free value transfer. But when they think about using the public blockchain, they think they have a lot of concerns, mainly in the lack of governance and the volatility of the transaction costs. So that's why that's kind of inspired us to kind of start to think about build our own public blockchain, which I'm going to talk about later. So a little bit highlights about our project. Now we have over 80 team members across the world. The main office is in Shanghai, which have almost 70 people. The tech team is basically mainly in Shanghai, and we have team in Paris, in Singapore, as well as Tokyo. And we were We are the global blockchain partner with DMVGL. DMVGL is actually one of the leading certification company. They specialize in supply chain management consulting. So we are their global partner for their digital transformation initiative. And we are also the partner of PricewaterhouseCoopers in Asia, in Hong Kong and Singapore. And we were on the only blockchain project in the Shanghai Important Product Traceability Program. All the other, this is like a government initiative. And we are the only blockchain technology partner for the Gui'an New Zone. That's also like a national level initiative in China. So this is a little bit background, and also about our team. Our team is actually I think all of our team are from the background of different industry, traditional industry. Like our team leader, Sunny, he's a very charismatic team leader, and he was the CIO of Louis Vuitton Group in Greater China. So he's the CEO, and CFO is JJ. He has over 14 years experience in Big Four in Shanghai and in London. So we also have a CTO. Our CTO used to work in TCL. He used to lead a 200 people development team, and he's a expert in IoT technology as well as software development. So that's why it's really important that we have our CTO, because actually IoT technology is a core part of our solution. And we also have Richard and Chain. They are also very experienced business development partners, and they are Richard is also from Louis Vuitton Group, and Chain is from the HP. So it is myself. I'm Kevin. I'm the COO, and I used to work in PwC in Shanghai and New York. I worked for PwC for over 12 years in cybersecurity and privacy consulting. So now I joined the Vechain team. We have our core developer Qian Bing. He's an excellent guy. He's leading the development of our core blockchain mainnet. And also our chief scientist, Peter. Peter is a PhD in Southampton University. He's leading our program with different kind of research project with the universities. And Jerome is the head of our European business. He used to work in Barclays Bank for over 10 years. He's a very experienced guy. Actually, Europe is a really important market for us, because I mentioned that one of our partners is DMVGL. The DMVGL Business Assurance, their headquarters is in London. So they actually they want to build the blockchain solution for their client, and those solutions will be built based on the Vechain platform. So they already referred like a big long list of clients to us. So we actually are dedicating more and more resources in the Euro market. In terms of partners, we are very proud of our partners. We have a long list of partners, although some of them are under NDA, we cannot put it here. But I think in the standard, as I mentioned, our strategic partner is PwC and DMVGL. They are the professional consulting firm, and they have hundreds of thousands of clients worldwide in different industries. So it's really important to have this kind of strategic partners, because as a startup like us, if you go to a Fortune 500 company, it's very unlikely you get a meeting with their senior people. But if DMVGL or PwC, they refer you to their clients, it's very easy to knock the door and have a meeting with the senior management. Actually, a lot of our clients we are working on actually is referred by PwC and DMVGL. And in a lot of the projects, actually we go to market with PwC and DMVGL, because these guys, they know the industry really well, because we are just a technology provider. It's impossible for us to know all the industry. So usually they will be the industrial expert on the solution, and will be the technology provider. And here we also have our investor like Briar Capital. It's one of the top internet investors in Silicon Valley, and actually Jim Breyer, the founder, he's also one of our advisors. And Bankorus is the top investment firm in the blockchain industry in China. Also Draper Dragon Fund. And here also we have some of our clients like DIG. DIG is the largest wine importer in China. We implemented the traceability solution based on blockchain for DIG. And they are already using this platform. Actually the wine that's managed by this platform is already on the market. You can actually buy it in the supermarket in China. And yeah, of course, the Renault Group and BMW Automotive is also one of our key focus. We worked on a project with Renault in 2016. And that's basically a digital passport for a car on the blockchain. And we recently, in our rebranding event, we announced a partnership with BMW. Actually, we are working on a project with them right now, and it's going to be finished probably around in April or in May. And BMW is going to announce the details of that project later in the next 2 or 3 months. And yeah, there are other clients which is using our solution, which I'm going to talk a little bit later. We also have our research partners, Oxford University and Michigan State University. So these are also very important partners because based on our experience in building the blockchain application for our clients, we learned that in which direction we need to improve our technology. And then you can use the best minds in this university to help you to think about, to do the research on how you can improve your technology. So our vision is basically we are building a public blockchain with different kind of application with real world business activities going on. So a lot of our projects, I think one of the things that we can differentiate, the Vechain can differentiate in this industry is that a lot of our projects, applications are already running. Although it's running on our private blockchain. But these solutions are actually in the real world space. Like one of our clients is a luxury brand in France, and they have 1,500 bags registered on our blockchain. And those bags you can actually buy it on the market if there's a shop in your region. So we have built the solutions in different industries, including like government initiative, even carbon trading and wine traceability, cold chain logistics, and luxury brands, and also automotive. So when we launch our public blockchain, that public blockchain is going to host a lot of the real world activities because we are going to move the solution now currently running on a private blockchain onto the public blockchain. So at that time, it will be probably one of the public blockchain that hosts, I think, most business activity or the financial activities. So actually, I found that a lot of the project today, they really focus on the financial service industry, which I think is fantastic. That's actually what we want to see in one day in the blockchain industry. But we take a little bit different approach. We start from the beginning of our project, we kind of focus on the non-financial service industry because we find the financial service industry is, I think, the most difficult industry to disrupt, in our opinion, because it's highly regulated and there's a lot of interests. A conflict of interests. So our approach is we kind of start with the non-financial service industry, and we want to get more and more business activity going on the platform, so that later on people will find you need a new financial service to support this kind of business activities. That's how actually what happened in the internet stage in China. For example, we have Taobao. You have Taobao. At the beginning, you don't have Alipay. So people are using Taobao. More and more people are using Taobao to shop. And people find it's impossible to use cash or use bank transfer for this kind of e-commerce activity. So that's why Alibaba created Alipay, which is a huge success. So the same thing is going to happen with the blockchain industry. Like as more and more business activity going on, like your products are managed by the blockchain, you will find the traditional financial service is not enough for this kind of value transfer. So you will, at that time, people will realize you have to use cryptocurrency or a public blockchain. So that's kind of the vision and the introduction of our projects. So in the next session, I'm going to talk about our public blockchain, why we think our public blockchain will be the platform for massive enterprise adoption. So I'm going to talk about basically three things. The first thing is the governance structure we built for our platform, and the other thing is our economic model, how we can facilitate the stable transaction costs for our clients. And the third thing is basically the technology components of our solutions. So the first thing is the governance model. So our idea is to kind of balance between centralization and decentralization. And the reason why is in our opinion, this blockchain technology at this stage is not mature enough to do fully decentralization. If you want to do fully decentralization at this moment, that means low efficiency and high cost. Just look at the Bitcoins. Like they are trying to solve this scalability issue for 2 or 3 years, but it's so hard for the community to reach the consensus. So in our governance model, we have a steering committee, which is basically the governing body of this open blockchain platform. The steering committee is not just made of Vechain people. Now there are 7 people in the steering committee, of which three people are from Vechain team, our CFO, CEO, and chief scientist, and 2 people are from DMVGL, DMVGL China CEO and the leader of the global digital transformation initiative. And one person from PwC, who is the cybersecurity and fintech partner in China. And the last one is kind of like the independent member. She's an economic professor in Hong Kong City University. So these 7 people is kind of like the first batch of the steering committee. When we launch the project, they will have different teams working for them, but it doesn't mean that the steering committee can control everything on this platform. We also have the community. Like we have multiple layers of nodes. Like if you guys have followed our project, we'll have authority nodes, which is basically the nodes that produce the blocks on our platform. And we'll have 101 authority nodes, and all these nodes will be, the identity of the node owner will be verified. We know exactly who's running the nodes. It could be an individual or it could be an enterprise. So we'll make sure they have the obligation and responsibility to follow the steering committee, follow the voting result of the platform. So, and we have other nodes like the economic nodes. So let me give you an example. Like if we find the scalability of the platform needs to be improved, so what will happen is basically the technical committee will do the research and study and try to find out the best solution, probably submit some proposal to the steering committee, and the steering committee is going to use their expertise to do the first assessments, and they'll propose the best solution based on their expert, because these are the experts in their fields. So they will put up a proposal and for the community to vote. So all the token holders, if they meet certain criteria, they will be able to vote. And all the voters will have different weights. If you are just anonymous voter, your vote will have the least weight. If you're verified or KYC holder, you will have a higher weight. Or if you're a smart contract owner, you're already running some business activity going on, you will have a higher vote. Your vote will have a higher weight. And if you're authority node holder, basically your vote will have the highest weight in the whole ecosystem. So that's how we kind of try to balance the centralization, decentralization to achieve first the efficiency as well as leverage the decentralization nature of the technology. And we will also apply the same kind of professionalism in the future, like the ICO project or dApps project on the platform. So we will be working with the very professional investment banks and professional firms to define a framework how we assess those projects. The potential ICO projects will have very strict rules for these projects. So basically the Vechain will only back very few projects that we feel that really has value and professional. So those projects will be only those projects will be backed by the foundation, and the foundation will help the investor to do the first assessment. And the second point is the economic model. So on our platform, we'll have a 2-token system. So basically, the Vechain token is the primary token on the platform, which is basically represents the privilege of using the network resource, and it's also the smart money for the platform, for the business to settle with other business or settle with the consumers in the future. But if you hold the Vechain token, the Vechain token will automatically produce another token called VThor. So the VThor is actually the gas, or it's actually the fuel of this platform. So that means when you do the payments or when you execute some smart contracts, it's going to consume VThor instead of Vechain token. So, but Yeah, I'll say people are probably thinking there are other platform on the market who also has a 2-token system, but the different the unique things about our economic model is that the secondary token VThor, the foundation kind of have a control over it, which means the foundation will monitor the total supply and consumption of this secondary token. So when we will disclose that what are the criteria we're monitoring. When it hits certain threshold, we'll kick off an assessment process to see if we are able to do some adjustments on the secondary token. Like we can use smart contract to adjust the generation speed of the secondary token. We will have different methods to kind of stabilize. All the purpose is to stabilize the transaction cost for our enterprise users. Because if you think from the enterprise user's perspective, they cannot accept some platform on which the transaction cost will kind of volatile a lot. Like on Ethereum, if you deploy a smart contract 3 years ago, comparing now, it's like 10 times or 100 times maybe. So from the enterprise perspective, they need to do budget. So they need to know exactly how much it's going to cost for me to use the platform in the next year or 2 years. So they need kind of a stable or at least predictable transaction cost. So this is how we kind of try to control, to try to make sure the cost to use this platform is controllable, predictable, and stable. It's going to grow in a healthy pace. So the kind of like a slogan or idea about our economic model is it's free to start and then you have to pay for the value, which means if you're a light user, you just do some kind of payments or token transfer from now and then. This platform basically is free for you because if you hold some of our token, that will generate the VThor token. But if you're a heavy user, for example, like our luxury brands that are using our platform, they are actually running thousands of smart contracts on the platform, which that means actually they are creating some value out of this platform. So they have to pay for it. So they either invest a lot upfront, they hold a huge amount of Vechain tokens so that they got enough VThor token to fuel their smart contracts, or they just buy the VThor token from other token holders. And the next is kind of the technology component of our solution. So if you look at the Vechain solution, you will find that a lot of time the blockchain is just one component in the whole solution. Because the blockchain technology itself cannot disrupt the business model. It has to work with other technology. So in our solution, we have the blockchain core, of course, like the Vechain Thor public blockchain, which we are going to launch in the second quarter, and we'll open source that platform. And we also, in our solution, IoT technology, as I said before, is a critical part of our solution. So the IoT, the sensors, the chips is basically like your eyes and arms that kind of help you collect the data. To store it on the blockchain, to be secured by the blockchain. And those IoT technology will use this different kind of connection. Like NFC chip or RFID chip is basically a storage IoT device, but we also have sensors to collect humidity, acceleration data, even like temperature. So these are connected devices. So we basically a lot of time when we go to a client, based on their needs, we build a customized solution for the client, and we actually design the sensors or the chips for the client, because we have a pretty big 10 people IoT team. We actually manufacture our own chip. And also for the enterprise to use blockchain, you need to provide the standard solution, the tools, the service, and the APIs. So that four things kind of make our solution. So yeah, so in the summary, the Vechain Thor public blockchain is going to be the public blockchain made for enterprise adoption. And we are confident about that. It's because we got so much feedback from our enterprise user already, because they've been using our platform for over a year or 2 years. And we also got a lot of advice from our partners like PwC and DNVGL, because they are working for thousands or 10,000s of clients. They know exactly what's the concern of the enterprise users. So our public blockchain will have comprehensive governance structure. We'll have a robust economic model to make sure the transaction cost is stable or predictable. And also, which is really important is that we have built-in native governance tool. So we have KYC service as well as voting and smart contract certification. So because in the business world, the enterprise, they need to make sure they know exactly who you are transacting with. So it's very important that the addresses on the users on the platform, they actually have a real identity, a verified identity. So we'll use proof of authority consensus, which have 101 authority nodes. These nodes are verified, and they need to have a certain amount of Vechain token as a collateral. And also we have off-the-shelf IoT solutions, which is highly integrated with our blockchain platform. So basically the platform will have governance model, economic model, and it's going to launch in the second quarter of this year. If I still have time, I'll probably use a little bit time to talk a little bit about some of our solutions. This first solution is what we did. Actually, this is like the first project we did for one of the French luxury brands. Because as I mentioned, our CEO he used to work for Louis Vuitton, so he knows this industry very well. So in this solution, the whole idea is to connect the physical products with the virtual world on the blockchain. So that the way we do that is we use the NFC chip. So the brand actually, we integrate the different players along the supply chain, including the manufacturer, the warehouse, and the retail store on the same platform. So when the manufacturer make the bag, they will actually sew this chip underneath the leather to make sure that if you really want to take out this chip, you have to destroy a real bag. So the bad actor is not going to do that in a larger scale. So the chip makes sure that you can kind of bind this physical product with the digital assets on the blockchain. So all throughout this supply chain, your different players will provide data related to this digital assets, like the basic information, where it's produced, when it's checked into the warehouse, when it's checked out, and all kinds of information. So the consumer can actually use our Vechain app to easily scan this chip because it's NFC. Now you can actually scan NFC with the iPhone as well. In the past, you can only do that on Android. So they can scan this chip. That will pull all the data from the blockchain about this product. Like you know exactly where it's produced, where it's basically the route, how it get to the retail store. I'm not going to talk about this one because it's also a traceability solution for wine, what we did for DIG in China. This is the one we did with Renault. So it's a little bit different. It's not just traceability, although it's easy to do traceability for the automotive parts, but this is different. We basically created a digital identity, or you can call that digital maintenance book for a car on the blockchain. So when this car is manufactured and it's sold to the customer, and the customer will actually own the data in the digital maintenance book. And as he used the car, as he repair the car, as he drive the car, different data will be written on this digital maintenance book. But it's not written by the user. But for example, if you go to a repair shop, you can actually authorize the repair shop to write data into the digital maintenance book. So all this data will be recorded, including driving behavior, even accident information will be written in this blockchain maintenance book. And later on, if you go to an insurance company, you can just grant the access to the insurance company to read all the history about this car. And because it's recorded on the blockchain, so the insurance company can probably trust this data. And as a result, they will provide a better quote to the customer. And it's also very valuable in the second-hand market, because if you have a car with a trusted record of this car, it will worth a lot of value than a car without this kind of data. And if a car owner sell this car to another buyer, he can actually transfer the ownership of this digital maintenance book to the next buyer, so that later on, the next buyer will control the access. The last solution, which is, I think it's my favorite, it's the one we recently did in China for one of the convenience store chain. So we did this with DMVGL because in the past, this kind of convenience store, they sell frozen fruits or sushi, this kind of product. This kind of product, you have to, the temperature have to be very well controlled along the supply chain. So in the past, the convenience store asked the DMVGL, can you do a certification for us for this kind of, for our cold chain logistic management? But the DMVGL found it's really challenging to do that because they don't trust the data that's provided by the convenience store or by the other companies. So that's why they decided to work with Vechain. Now we are building this solution for the convenience store. So basically, we deploy this sensor for the temperature. We deploy the sensor in the trucks or along with the products. The sensor will collect the temperature data in a real-time basis. And the data will be written on the blockchain, stored on the blockchain, also in a real-time basis, or it could be offline device the data will be, if it's an offline device, the data will be recorded on blockchain when you scan the sensor. So because now this temperature data is stored on the blockchain, for the first time, the DMVGL can actually provide a certification process, a certification service for this product. They can say, we can certify that this product, the temperature has been well controlled along the supply chain. So this is kind of how we are working with the DMVGL to help them to provide a new business model. And also we are very excited that because we have this solution, that one of the insurance company, they decided to participate in this solution because they know that the temperature data is protected by the blockchain, and DMVGL actually certify this product. They are willing to provide an insurance product for this kind of cold chain logistic products. So this is what I said, how you use a non-financial service solutions or ecosystem to connect the financial services. I think that's it, what I want to share. So if you want to know more information, just visit our website or our Twitter. Actually, we just kicked off our Korean community 2 days ago. So you can scan this QR code to join our Telegram group. Thank you.
네, 좋은 말씀 감사드립니다. 혹시 질문 있으시면 질문 받겠습니다.
Vchain도 이더리움 같이 ERC20 같은 토큰을 만들 수 있는 하이체인들을 만들 수 있는 그런 어떠한 다른 토큰을 개발할 수 있는 거를 제공해 주시는지 그게 좀 궁금하거든요.
Do you have anything that can create other tokens like Ethereum has ERC20 or something?
Yeah, yes, of course, because we'll be a public blockchain, so it's because it's public, everyone can create a token on it. Because actually our smart contract is compatible with Ethereum, so yeah, it's easy to do.
네, 감사합니다.
지금 그러니까 중앙화와 분산화를 균형을 맞추기 위해서 투코인 시스템을 도입을 했다라고 제가 이해하면은 옳게 했는지.
So is my understanding correct if I understand that the two-coin system was introduced to balance between the centralization and decentralization?
The two-token system is created because we want to try to make sure we can stabilize the transaction cost for our enterprise users. Because the primary token, the Vechain token, will be, because it's a crypto token, so by nature it will be very volatile. So that's why we created a secondary token which we have a little bit more control over to stabilize the transaction cost for our clients.
네, 발표 잘 들었습니다. 저 궁금한 거는 이제 빗소르 분배는 이제 메인넷 시점부터 되는 것인지, 그리고 두 번째로는 비체인 보유를 했을 때 얼마나 많은 빗소르를 받을 수 있는지 그것이 궁금합니다.
죄송한데 첫 번째 다시 한번 말씀해 주시겠어요?
네, 첫 번째 질문은 이제 빗소르 분배가 메인넷 시점부터 가능한 건지입니다.
You're asking the question about the V10 token?
예, 빗소르 토큰.
What is your question? Sorry.
메인넷 이후부터 받을 수 있는 거, 할당 분배받을 수 있는 것인지. 그러니까 비체인을 가지고 있으면은 빗토르를 받을 수 있는 게 받을 수 있지 않나요?
Maybe we can talk offline after I come back.
오케이,
Yeah.
오케이.
How do I buy Vechain?
Sorry?
How do I buy Vechain?
Have I buy Vechain?
How do I buy?
How do you buy Vechain? It's listed on a lot of major exchanges like Binance. Now we are also listed on a Korean exchange, CoinS.
Okay.
Yeah, although we at the same time we are talking to a lot more exchanges. Any other questions? All right. So thank you very much. Just feel free to join our group we can provide more information. Thank you.
네, 다시 한번 박수 부탁드립니다. 네, 이것으로 블록체인 나잇라이브의 모든 세션과 연설이 마무리되었는데요. 긴 시간 동안 함께해 주신 모든 분들께 감사드리고 지금까지 즐거운 시간 되셨길 바랍니다. 그럼 지금까지 MC 박세원이었습니다. 감사합니다.